Hey, welcome back to True-Moto-Resto, and in this video we're going to continue with the RC8 track bike, see how far we can get. No promises, but we might get to the paint booth, maybe. Stay tuned. Okay, so I took off the old grip on the left-hand side here. So I'm going to put on this guy. I'm going to move this down, and I'm going to put the other MotoGP style switchgear up there. And then to put it on, to make it slide on and then stick, all you do is you go into the bathroom and take your wife's hairspray, and that's what you use. It lubricates, so you got to move pretty quick, and then it dries like grip glue. Your wife will love you for it. So there we have the new grips. We've got the lever protectors on. We've got my MotoGP style switchgear mounted up, and I managed to get this to stay in one place. I didn't drill the bar. I'm not big on drilling bars. And then yeah, same thing on the other side. New grips and lever guards. And I set the bars to be basically the same length because they were different before. So yeah, there we go. So these are the bolts that hold the tank on at the front, and they're a little bit gold at this end, so we're going to try to clean that up. And then also this particular thread is also boogered because somebody put this in wrong when they were trying to mount the tank, and it got stripped out. So I'm going to clean that thread out, retap it, and going to clean up the thread bolts as well. So first thing I'm going to do is use my thread gauge, which will be metric, just to make sure that I know what the pitch is. So 1.0 pitch, looks like an M6. Okay, so this is the primer, and to be honest, this is the first time I've used this gun. I've had it for years, and I have no idea whether the primer is going to spray out of it, so we're about to find out. First time I've ever used it. It's a brand new gun. It's not an HVOP because the compressor I have here just can't provide enough air for that, so we'll see how this one works. All right, so we've got the primer on. It's not perfect. I got a bug landed in here, but you kind of have to expect that when you're spraying outside. The gun was 6 out of 10. It really wasn't moving quite enough material for my liking. It would kind of sputter once in a while. The stuff was pretty thick, but it got the job done. That's the main thing. The gun is a brand new gun, but it's 20 years old. The first time I took it out of the package was today, so yeah, that should work okay. I tried to make sure this time, I don't know if you recall my video when I did, I think it was a GSX-R 750. I didn't put it on thick enough, so it really didn't flow out properly. So this time I really made sure that I laid it on good. The other thing this will do for me is it'll start to show up some of the slight imperfections in the fiberglass, so I can touch that stuff up as well, which, I mean, I'm not going to get it all out. Fiberglass bodywork is, it is what it is, but it'll help a little bit. I'll take care of a few small uglies on it, and that'll work okay. I think I only got one run here. I kind of stalled in my pass for some reason, and it just kind of splotched a big run out of there. So, but aside from that, we're doing okay. Give that a few more minutes to dry. I mean, it's already pretty dry. The stuff dries real quick. So this is the primer that I used. It comes with a little tube of hardener, and yeah, it works okay. I've got no real complaints with the actual product. My biggest issue was I have an HVLP gun with a 1.8 millimeter tip that I normally use for primer, but today I was spraying at home, and my compressor that I have up here in the shop is just a rinky-dink little guy here, 2.5 horsepower, which it does what I need it to do for the most part up here, but when you're running and sucking a lot of air and high volume, there's no way this thing is going to keep up with an HVLP gun, so that's why I use the old style spray gun. Here we are back in the shop. I'll leave them hung up here to dry for a while, and then we can get to sanding them. I think it's going to be interesting painting inside these snorkels, that's for sure. And then the belly pan is here. I think it's a lot smoother than it was the first time I used that primer, so that's good. I laid it on thick enough, I guess. Managed to get it to flow out okay. So a slight change of plans with the primer. Originally I was going to use the black rattle can primer that I bought on top of this. I spoke to my buddy just to see what his thoughts were on using that to help with the coverage, because the Valspar paint hasn't been covering very well. So I had two choices. I could kind of go over this stuff with the black primer from the rattle can, the 1K primer on top of the 2K, or I could use some leftover paint that I have, which is kind of quite a dark color blue here. You can see it there. That's the run down the side of the can, which I can put a couple of coats on that on, and then put the KTM color on top. And so his opinion was to go with the leftover paint as the first couple of coats, just to darken it up. He's not a big fan of the 1K rattle can primer, which I understand. So I think that's the way that we're going to go. I'll take his advice on that, and yeah, we'll see how that works out. So what I've done here is inside these snorkels, these tubes here, these inlets, openings, whatever you want to call them, is I've sprayed in some black primer because I do anticipate it being a little bit tricky to get paint in there all the way. I'm gonna have to probably try to narrow down the fan on the gun when I get to that particular point, but in case it doesn't go on as easily or smoothly as I would like, at least this way it's black already, so whatever color I do get in there will be will be quite sufficient. It should look good. What you can't have in those scenarios is this kind of light colored primer or white in there, and then you're trying to shoot color into there, and it isn't going, and you end up with you know, partial coverage, and it would just look like crap. At least this way, if I get, you know, partial coverage, you'll never see it. So here's what I'm going to use on the inside of the panels. I don't think it needs to be anything other than this. This is just kind of a heavy coverage semi-gloss black. It will adhere to plastic and whatnot. So I'm just going to rattle can the insides of most of these panels. The belly pan for sure is easy to see the inside, so that's got to be well covered. Parts of the upper fairing you can kind of see inside, so that's going to have to get painted. And then I'm also going to make sure that I've painted inside these sections of the tail. You can't really see in there, but if there's any place where you could maybe catch a peek, it would be kind of in this area here. There's no way you could see in here because the seat pan sits on top, and you don't see the underside of the seat pan either, so I have no need to paint that, and nothing to worry about on the tank. So basically the main thing is for the belly pan and the upper fairing, I'm going to paint the insides of that. I'll do a little bit of taping on the primer as well, just so, because I don't want to get the primer covered in Rust-Oleum paint there. That just becomes a pain in the backside having to clean all that off after. Painting the inside of the pan here, obviously, and I've just kind of blocked off any of the holes with tape. That way you don't get the overspray going through the outside where all the primer is. It just makes the whole process a lot cleaner and easier, and then you're not back sanding everything again. That'll do. All right, so same treatment with the front, excuse me, the front fairing. All I've done here is just basically tape off anything that I think could end up getting overspray on it from the rattle can. So we'll see how it goes. Just pretty straightforward stuff, really. So it's not bad for first coat. We'll let that dry, and we'll give it another shot along with the belly pan. Still haven't started the seat unit yet, but that doesn't take much in there. So here's what happens when you forget to cover one of the holes. You get the overspray. All right, so there we have it after all the masking has been removed. So for the most part, I didn't get much overspray anywhere. There's a bit kind of puked out of one of the holes right there, but that's easy to sand off. There was a little bit of a dusting over right here, you can see. But again, I'll have to sand that off. It's hard to avoid. The other thing I found while I was looking here, this stupid Zeus fastener here, you could see in there. But the rivet did not go in properly, or the rivet went in, but unfortunately the plate wasn't back against the bodywork far enough when I riveted it on, so that means I'm gonna have to drill that back out and put a new rivet in there. So as I mentioned, this one is basically stripped out. It was like that. And so my idea here is to drill and helicoil this. I've never tried helicoil, so I bought this kit here, and so these are the little helicoils. So I guess the whole process in a nutshell is you use this drill to drill out the bike, you tap with this, you install a helicoil with this, and then you snap off, there's a little tab on the bottom here, you snap that off with this guy, and then you can put the bolt in. I got to learn how to do it. I've never done it before, so there's got to be a first time for everything, so this might as well be it. So that's going to be a wrap for this video. This is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. I've just got a whole pile of other things going on this week that's causing me to not be able to spend quite as much time up here in the shop, and I can't even blame it on getting some farming done, because it's been too wet here since the early part of June, now into middle of July. I haven't had 3 days in a row of good weather to get any hay done yet, so can't even blame it on that. But other priorities this week, and hopefully we'll get back with you real soon. I'll try to get another one out for next Thursday, Friday, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.